All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I made a video. This is going to be a live stream and a video at the same time. So trickle on in, guys, and you can chat while I'm doing this. It should be a pretty good time. All right. And I didn't turn off my stuff. So Legend Kills, what's up? Trickling on in. How you guys doing? So this is going to be a different one. I'm not gaming today. Well, maybe later. Who knows? But thanks you guys for coming on in. This is going to be a video and a live stream. So today we're going to be watching the Roger Ver debates. Charlie Lee, Roger Veer. I always say Ver, but it's Veer. Pitman, what's up? Keen, what's going on? If you guys haven't seen this, this is juicy, juicy sauce. So let's just jump right into it, guys. Feel free to chat while we're doing this.
Here we have BTC in 2018, and I'm saying it has none of those
Here we
characteristics.
go.
It's no longer a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. In fact, many of the BTC proponents are hostile to the idea of using it as cash. Do we agree on that? That many people are hostile to using Bitcoin as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system?
What do you mean by hostile?
They say buying coffee with Bitcoin is stupid.
They say buying coffee with Bitcoin on-chain is stupid.
Okay, so they're
Right,
hostile
so
to making on-chain transactions to use Bitcoin
People
as
are
a
working
peer-to-peer.
on Lightning Network, which helps Bitcoin scale to second-layer solutions. So it's still Bitcoin, right? So they're not hostile to using
Is it a
Bitcoin.
peer-to-peer cash system when you're using the Lightning Network?
Sure, it's actually more peer-to-peer than Bitcoin.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree. How is it not peer-to-peer? How is it not peer-to-peer? I don't know, Roger Veer. Let's just continue.
So tell me why you think it's more peer-to-peer when I have to connect to my Lightning node to yours, to his, to make
No,
the payment
because you're
over
connecting to a network. It's the transactions are jumping from peer-to-peer.
So-
Bitcoin transactions are not peer-to-peer right now, right? So Bitcoin transactions are a broadcast type transaction where you broadcast the transaction to everyone in the world,
The whole network
and
gets
then
it. Yep.
the miners
Put it in
collate
a block
them
and then
put it in
boom.
a block. So
Yep.
it's a broadcast transaction. It's not
Yeah.
peer-to-peer. The
But
Bitcoin network,
the payment itself is from person to person, right? Because there's one blockchain that's shared by everybody. I update
Sure,
the ledger
and
to
that's
reflect that
not
my
the-
Bitcoins
that's
went
not-
from my address to your address,
yeah. So
from me to you.
the
Whereas on
payment-
Lightning
let
Network,
me
it goes
finish. The
through a bunch of hops. Well,
the
I was
payment-
explaining what I had to
The
say.
payment for Bitcoin right now is from a sender to recipient.
So that's kind of an interesting thing. Is Bitcoin peer to peer? And I kind of say it is, even though it broadcasts to the whole network. I feel that it is because it's still person to person. But I think Roger Ver just doesn't have the idea of Lightning Network, that it's just hopping from person to person to person, and that's not peer to peer. But that's really peer to peer. I mean, have you ever used a torrent? It's hopping from person to person to person, and you know you're getting little bits of torrents and things like that from all kinds of people. So that's very similar to Lightning Network, in a way. And so here's the thing, guys. Here's what you have to realize is that Roger Ver has to lie and defend Bitcoin Cash, because Bitcoin Cash was clearly made to benefit Bitmain and Roger Ver by exploiting ASIC boost. In case you didn't know, ASIC boost was a 30% efficiency, basically a bug in the SHA-256 algorithm. That SegWit removed. That's why they didn't want to put SegWit into Bitcoin Cash, because if you put SegWit into Bitcoin Cash, then that removes ASIC boost, and then just imagine having a huge operation like Bitmain and then saying, okay, well, we're going to take your 30% efficiency away. They couldn't have that, right? So that's when they realized, okay, well, Bitcoin we're gonna lose our 30% efficiency. Imagine being a gigantic company, a corporation, and just somebody coming up to you and say, okay, your operation is now going to be 30% less efficient. That's going to be a lot of money lost. That's going to be millions and millions of dollars lost. So what's the next best thing? Well, let's create Bitcoin Cash. We'll market it as if it's Bitcoin, and we'll continue ASIC boost. We will not put SegWit into our fork, where Bitcoin can do that, but we'll just be mining Bitcoin Cash and be making our millions.
It's not peer-to-peer per se. Peer-to-peer means
Isn't sender to recipient peer-to-peer?
it's just a direct payment, right?
Yeah, direct payment.
Yeah.
Direct payments sound pretty convenient.
So peer-to-peer network means that you're connecting to a peer, who connects to another peer, who connects to another peer. That's one way to define a peer-to-peer network. So I mean, it's just a definition.
Okay. So Bitcoin on-chain payments are direct payments. We agree on that?
Yeah, I guess.
Are Lightning Network payments direct payments?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
if there's a bunch of hops in between and with channel states and
Sure.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
it's
you still get the
confirmed-
coin.
if it gets
so
Confirmed.
I mean, that's like saying that Visa isn't a direct payment. You know what I mean? I mean, like if I sent you PayPal or Visa or something like that, something to your account, just because it hopped to Visa's centralized servers and then to you, doesn't mean that wasn't a direct payment, really. I mean, was it? I mean, I don't know. Let's continue.
then it's direct payment.
if it gets confirmed. So did you see there was a picture on Twitter floating around that showed somebody named their Lightning node Roger Ver, and none of the other Lightning nodes were connecting to it. Did you see that photo?
Roger Ver, scratch your arm in nervousness. Me. No one connected to my name.
What I'm talking about? And they were all laughing and joking around about it and so happy about it. But to
Yeah,
me,
they
I
are.
thought, my God, do you people not understand what you're laughing and joking about? You're laughing and joking about the fact that the Lightning Network has the ability to exclude people from being able to use it. Whereas
People?
the on-chain
No,
Bitcoin
it's just the
network,
name of a node.
It's impossible to exclude anybody.
It's just the name of a node. It's not to be able to, the ability to exclude certain people. That's just the name somebody made somebody's node. Roger Ver, you're a fucking retard, man.
From using
you
it.
can't exclude anybody from using Lightning Network.
If people refuse to connect to your node, you absolutely can.
You
And
think
it-
like okay,
and
you're telling me that everybody in this world that uses Bitcoin refuses to make a connection to you.
That's what the picture was showing on the actual live Lightning Network.
That's just as ridiculous as saying all the miners will censor your transaction because they know it's you.
Well, this isn't theoretical. This actually happened. This was a live picture from the Bitcoin Lightning Network.
That's because somebody created a node with your name and
Yeah.
decided not to connect to anyone, and then
There you
created
go.
this picture. It's not because he was
Exactly. It's the name of the node. It's not actually Roger Ver.
censored from connecting to Lightning
if
Network.
everybody refuses to connect to a particular node, that node has been censored from participating on
No
the
one
network.
would know
no?
that's you unless you
Until-
call yourself Roger Ver.
Until
and
the
people don't
regulators
like
come
you.
in, because if you look at the Lightning nodes, are the very definition of a money transmitter. They're taking money from one person, then sending it on to somebody else. We're already seeing how much pressure is coming from governments on exchanges and wallets, and I'm sure you saw firsthand at Coinbase the craziness that was going on with
Yeah,
regulators at Coinbase. You think they're not going to do that to Lightning Network node operators?
They won't be able to, just like they won't be able to shut down Bitcoin.
Why would they not be able to do it to a Lightning node?
Anyone can spin up a Lightning Network now.
Anybody can spin up whatever business they want to, right?
No, but Lightning Network is
What was the point of saying that, Roger Ver? That makes no sense. Anybody can take a rabbit, skin a rabbit. You can skin a cat 46 ways. 2 plus 2 is 4. What is it? It doesn't mean anything. Yeah, graduated MIT versus normal person. Yeah, I'm reading your guys' comments.
private, right? If I spin up a node and open connections to people, no one knows who I am. They can't censor me. They can't stop
I
me.
hope you're right, but I suspect you're wrong.
What
So-
do you
Of
mean?
course you
I mean, give me
suspect.
a solid reason why you think I'm wrong.
We've already seen the picture of a bunch of nodes refusing to connect to so and so, right?
There's no. I mean, the picture is a joke.
But it was a picture from the actual network, right? So it was a graphical representation of the actual.
Yeah, it's
state
because
of the
someone
network.
made a joke on you. by
It's just a
creating
joke,
Lightning
man, and the
Network.
node is named Roger Ver.
So they
It's not
successfully
to Roger
censored somebody
Ver.
from
No,
participating
he
in that
censored
network.
himself.
What if What if that node was me? How do you know it wasn't me?
Okay, if it was you and people decide to censor you because of your name, then
I think
Yeah, but if the node wasn't, if you made the node Roger Ver, here's the thing: if you made the node Roger Ver, then that means that you didn't connect to anybody else. Come on, Roger Ver.
Use on-chain transactions on Bitcoin Cash is what I would do if that were the case.
or you should not
So-
be. You should be an anonymous Lightning Network node because that's what
Even better,
Bitcoin is
I'm
all
fine
about,
with it.
right?
I think fungibility is incredibly important. So
We can agree on that.
anyhow, we have Bitcoin BTC here in 2018, no longer low fee. Do we agree it's no longer low fee? This is a list of things that made Bitcoin popular to begin with.
2017, I would agree,
2018.
is no longer low fee. 2018, the fees are back to pretty same amounts.
So one of these guys was demoing his product to me that he said he's going to switch over to Bitcoin Cash from BTC just half an hour ago. He made an on-chain BTC transaction. It was 47 cents in fees. Is that low fee?
Yeah, that's pretty low fee.
We disagree. Fast payments.
Well, I mean, if you want lower fees than that, use Lightning Network.
I'll
so-
just use Bitcoin Cash. Thank you very much
Well,
because it
Bitcoin
works.
Cash has a different
I have a
characteristics
Bitcoin
than
Cash
Bitcoin.
wallet on my phone. It's impossible to install Lightning.
So here's the thing with Bitcoin Cash and low fees and stuff. Just say that it's a different coin. Just say that it's a fork with fasterness, I guess, with faster transactions, lower fees. But if you say that it's the real Bitcoin, that's where people get upset at Roger Ver. It's not Bitcoin, right? Like Litecoin has lower fees and faster transactions. But it's not Bitcoin. It doesn't claim to be Bitcoin. You know, Ethereum has actually slightly faster transactions, but it's just not Bitcoin. Nano has faster transactions. It's not Bitcoin. So we're talking apples and oranges. So keep it apples and oranges. If you try to make your orange an apple, then people are going to be upset for doing that. So Bitcoin Cash, just stay Bitcoin Cash. That's all. If you like Bitcoin Cash because of the fast transactions, fine. But don't say that it's the real Bitcoin. It's not.
Network on my phone. So if you want to use cryptocurrencies today, Bitcoin
Are you
Cash
talking
is...
to the camera?
Of course I am. I'm talking to the camera now, right?
You're-
I'm good at infomercials. Try your Bitcoin Cash wallet today, bitcoin.com. Go to free.bitcoin.com.
Your audience
and
probably
get some
already
free
realized
Bitcoin
that.
Cash. Probably.
Hey, head on over to MrSotko or Twitch TV/MrSotko and head on over and follow. If you guys like the live streams, I figured I'd just throw that in there too, since Roger Ver was doing it, right?
So I'm a natural marketer, so thank you for tolerating that, Charlie. So
Yeah,
fast
you're
payments,
a
right?
natural
Does
marketer.
Bitcoin have fast payments today?
You're a dick.
Lightning Network is very fast.
Again, there's no Lightning Network wallet available for my phone. I can't make... If I wanted to go to a place and pay with a Lightning Network, it's not
I'll tell you what
possible.
happened. So Bitcoin got too popular too fast. So
Thanks to people like me promoting it?
yeah, and no one's complaining, right? And the price went up,
I'm
shot up.
complaining. I'm pretty mad.
The price shot up too fast. Also, now it's correcting. So what happens when that happens is that
People
you
move to altcoins. We saw that happen.
Sure,
and
you get congestion. It's kind of like if you open a restaurant business and then it got popular too fast, then you have congestion, right? So is that a
So
bad
what do you
thing?
do? You add more
expand,
seats. Yeah, you
right?
expand. That's right.
What do you
and you expand as quickly as you possibly can to make
there's
room
two
for
ways
your
to expand.
customers. Yeah.
One is to just add twice the number of tables and have everyone sit really crowded and have a bad experience. That's one way to do it. The other is to actually just expand to the next door shop, right? And that takes time. And that's like building a Lightning Network. It takes
Oh, genius, Charlie Lee. So, okay, so this what he's saying there is basically a huge rip on Bitcoin Cash, because Bitcoin Cash is like, okay, we'll just raise the block rates, right? So, but that's like having a restaurant, and right, it got popular, just like Charlie Lee said, and everybody's coming in, everybody's coming to your restaurant. You got it downtown, right in the middle of a city, and everybody's coming in, and it's got this big long line out, and everyone's just raving about it, right? But you can only fit 100 people inside the restaurant, right? So there's two ways you could do that, and that's raise the block size, and that would be just jam a bunch more tables inside the restaurant, make it really crowded, make everybody's experience really, really crappy. Because even if you know, you raise the block size and make more tables, there's still 1,000 people waiting outside, and you still can't fit those 1,000 people inside. So the real way to do it would be to say, hey, let's open up a new location on 2nd Street instead of Main Street. Let's open up a new location on 10th Street or down the way, or maybe out in the suburbs or something like that. So everybody can get into the restaurant, and it has the same food and same great taste, but everybody can get into the restaurant now. And that's basically Lightning Network. That's what Bitcoin is trying to do, SegWit, Lightning Network. But whereas Bitcoin Cash is like, we'll just raise the block, we'll just put more tables in. Well, that's going to work for now. You're going to get a few more people into the restaurant, but again, it's going to get overloaded. That's not the final solution. That's not the future. It's not the final solution. As soon as people start using Bitcoin Cash way too much, the fees are going to go up on Bitcoin Cash too, just like any coin. It's just
time to expand,
not going to happen.
To a second layer, or to another open space where you can add more seats, right? So if you choose to expand by adding more tables and have everyone had a bad time, that's not really a good solution, right? So in the meantime, you're crowded. People will not go to your restaurant and go to an alternative restaurant, right? But you want to build it out the right way.
An alternative restaurant like Light Restaurant right next door?
Yeah.
Yes,
Litecoin?
exactly.
Sure.
So
Or
it seems
Dash
awfully
or
convenient
whatever.
for you to have been
Litecoin.
telling everybody, no, don't raise the block size on Bitcoin, just use Litecoin. And I recall very specifically you said if the blocks ever became full on Litecoin.
Yeah, but he never really said that though. Just use Litecoin. I mean, yeah, sure, he said that. He said use Litecoin, but not like don't increase the block size. He more said you got to replace that with saying he said Lightning Network, which is a better solution. Is it the best solution? No, a better solution. Yes.
You would just raise the block size, and to me that looks like just a fantastic marketing ploy on your part. To tell everybody, don't use Bitcoin, use Litecoin, restrict the Bitcoin network from being able to scale for people to use it, and come use Litecoin.
Well,
fantastic marketing, Charlie, for Litecoin.
Let me ask you something, okay? If that's my plan, why did I promote SegWit so hard?
I have no idea.
Well, think about it. If I wanted Bitcoin to...
Wow, thank you, Meep. I really appreciate that, man. That's going to go a long way. I really appreciate that donation, man. And I'm going to get that that done, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Sorry for stopping the video, guys. Thank you guys all for watching. I just decided to watch the Roger Ver debate, Charlie Lee, and it's just mum and a sauce. But thank you, Meep. I really appreciate that, man. It's going to go a long way, dude. I really appreciate that.
Stay congested and useless for payments, and I want everyone to move to Litecoin. Why did I help Bitcoin get SegWit and Lightning Network? Right? It's because
and I will also do the World of Warships thing as well. So I will do that. Yeah, because I did see that advertisement. I
actually my goal
Lightning Network has done nothing to alleviate scaling as of today. And
it has.
SegWit's done very, very,
it has.
very,
so
very
a lot
little.
of people are using Lightning Network today, and the good thing is you actually don't know how many people are using Lightning Network.
That's true,
I think Lightning Network
hate
is a little
to do this,
confusing for
Charlie.
most
It's good
people.
that people don't know,
and it
I hate
isn't
to do
being
this to
used
you,
as much as
Charlie.
it should
I did
be.
it to Samson last time. How many shops are accepting Lightning Network payments? How many stores can I spend Lightning Network payments on online today?
Not many. Roger Ver, you got him there, but it's
Can
just
you
because
name
not
some
many
for
people
me?
are using it.
You can go to the sticker shop. There's like the Bit Refill. There's some clothing shops that accept Lightning.
So I've heard two, and then some clothing shops. Are you sure? So maybe three?
I mean,
when
there's
was the
also
last-
like what's it called, the $1 million pixel thing, the Lightning Satoshi's place, right?
So
Stuff like that.
That's not really a store where you can buy things. You can just paint a picture of mainly
and if it's
male
valuable,
genitalia if you have been to that website.
if it's valuable to people to spend their money that way.
What?
I heard two, maybe three, where you can actually buy products, and then a third one where you can paint pictures of male genitalia.
Well, Charlie Lee doesn't know everywhere you can use Lightning Network. I mean, come on, give the guy a break. I don't know wherever you can use Lightning Network. Nobody does.
You've been to what Satoshi's Place it was called, right? Like, I went there, all I saw were people drawing pictures of male genitalia. I imagine you saw that as well?
If you go there now, it's probably not there, but...
I haven't been there recently. I went once, and that was enough.
Well, it's freedom of money, right?
Okay.
You can do whatever you want, you can draw whatever you want, and no one can block you. And
Okay.
that's the beauty of Bitcoin,
You
right?
draw your male genitalia
Agree?
with the Lightning Network. I think nobody being able to block you is part of the beauty of Bitcoin. So I have a question for you, since you're here promoting Lightning Network really, really hard. When was the last time you made a purchase with Lightning Network and bought something?
Just like a week ago.
What did you buy?
Bought some stickers from the blockchain store.
Yeah.
So
How many times did you have to try to make the payment before it went through?
it went through right away.
The very first time?
Yeah.
Because there's another great video I had with a guy in Hong Kong. I told him if it goes through, I'll wear a Blockstream shirt and you can take photos with me. And if it doesn't go through, you can wear a Bitcoin Cash shirt. And he tried. Payment failed.
Yeah, but you know, like this is
that-
this is a work in progress, right? I think
So it's not. So you agree it's not ready yet?
it's not ready yet.
Not even close to ready yet, right?
Agreed.
It might
Lightning
be
Network
ready
is,
in the year. I mean,
but
now
it's
months
coming
in
along
for-
though. Work in
it's
progress.
not
It'll
right
be
now
less
it's
than
good.
18 months. Would you
Yeah.
like to take a bet with me on that?
A bet.
I'll bet you that in 18 months from now, there will be less than 1,000 merchants in the world accepting Lightning Network payments for physical goods.
For how much?
How much you want to bet?
Friendly bet.
Yeah, $1,000 is friendly, right?
No, I don't like to bet money.
I have a better idea. If I'm right, you can wear a Bitcoin Cash shirt, and we'll do a little video about what happened in the next 18 months. And if I'm wrong, and there's more than 1,000 shops accepting Lightning Network, I'll wear a Lightning Network Blockstream shirt or whatever shirt you want, and we can talk about how I was wrong. Lightning Network was ready and got rolled out to more than 1,000 merchants in 18 months from
Sure, I'll
today.
make a video saying I was wrong, and if you're wrong, you'll make a video saying
Yeah,
you're wrong.
you got it. You got it.
Oh, more sauce. God, the sauce just keeps pouring. Oh, that didn't look good. It was sauce, guys. It was sauce. It was sauce. But that was good. Okay, so in 18 months, if 1,000 or greater distributors are using Lightning Network, then somebody will win. And if less than, Charlie Lee has to wear a Bitcoin Cash shirt and go on an interview or make a apology video, I was wrong video. Fair enough. I like it.
Yeah. 18 months. Today's what, September 8th or so? So
Did
well, September 9th, we'll have to set a reminder. So one of us will be wearing an interesting shirt and be giving a mea culpa in 18 months from now in regards to the Lightning Network. And in all honesty, I hope I'm the one that's wrong. I really do, because if we have fast, irreversible payments for the entire world that are super cheap, that's exactly what I want. So I totally hope I lose this bet. But I think it's unlikely that I'm going to
really
lose.
well,
but I hope I do. In my heart of hearts, I hope I do.
Announced just a couple of days ago that they're going to support Lightning Network for all their merchants.
So I hope they get 1,000 merchants online within 18 months. I hope they do, and I'll gladly make the video saying I was wrong. And in my heart of hearts, I hope I am wrong, because
Kebab,
my
thank you, man.
entire goal for being involved in cryptocurrencies is I want people to be able to have peer-to-peer electronic cash that doesn't require permission from anybody, that are lightning fast and super cheap for everybody. That's why I'm here. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna get on to the second one here.
That's why I'm involved. I want to bring.
Well, let's look at some comments here. We got TK says Roger got burned. Yeah, he did, man. He's getting burned pretty bad. Guys, if you haven't seen these videos, go to the comments of them. They're just, I mean, Roger Ver is, Charlie Lee's patience, found new respect for Charlie Lee, Roger Ver, rude, holy moly. They're just, trust me, they're good, guys. Why Bitmain Cash when we have Litecoin? Exactly, man. Few years, Bitcoin Cash blockchain will have a huge size, just like Ethereum is dealing with. Exactly, man. It's just, it's like you got a concrete wall and there's just water leaking through it like a dam, and you're just jamming a bunch of duct tape on it. That's like making the block size. For now, it's like, hey, look what I did. I fixed this problem without having to bring in a ton of engineers. I didn't have to spend millions of dollars fixing this problem and bringing in engineers. Look, all I had to do was just put duct tape on it. And like, that might work. Who knows? That might work for 6 months. That might work for 2 days. It might work for 2 years, but it's not going to work forever. The water's going to come back through. How about Apollo? Oh, Apollo coin. Wasn't that the, oh man, I looked it up once. I can't remember. I think it was a privacy coin. It had a lot of good features to it. I did like the idea of Apollo coin, but I can't remember it so much. I think you talked to me about it, or somebody did. Roger Ver is a big sellout to China, as Dianne Feinstein. Yeah, Dianne Feinstein is. I'm pretty sure she's actually the devil. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on that, but maybe just like a lesser demon. Like a lesser evil, and not like necessarily like a greater evil demon, but somewhere around there. You're probably right. All right, let's go.
Peer-to-peer permissionless cash for the entire world to undermine government's ability to control peaceful people.
For me,
what motivated you,
it's sound money. So I saw Bitcoin as really a better version of money than what we've seen in the history of mankind. So we've seen gold, but gold has issues, right? Gold's physical, although it's not exactly censorship resistant, because in order to send gold, you have to transport it. If you fly with gold, you have to declare it, right? So it's not, with Bitcoin, you don't have to. It's censorship resistant. So
exactly. So gold is sort of a pain. I'm not saying gold is a bad thing. Of course, gold is a good thing. It's been a good thing since the dawn of humanity. Humans love gold. It's useful for everything. But the problem is you can't transport it. Are you going to walk around with 5.5 pounds of gold in your pocket jingling around? Well, you're probably going to get robbed. It's hard to shape it away. Yeah, it's malleable, but gold has its issues.
Talk. The 4 points I made that makes Bitcoin.
Do I have them right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have them up here. We'll put it on the screen for everybody else to see.
That makes Bitcoin is censorship resistance, transaction immutability, cost of production, and fixed money supply.
So let's talk about those one at a time.
For each of these 4, I can tell you like what's the value, right? Well, so for censorship resistant, it means
Can we start at the very top? So you say Bitcoin's intrinsic value. Can you define what you mean by intrinsic value?
Yeah, it means that this gives Bitcoin value, like intrinsically. There's no. It just makes Bitcoin valuable and because Bitcoin is sound, this makes Bitcoin sound money, and being sound money is valuable.
What else has intrinsic value?
Some people will argue gold has intrinsic value.
Do you think gold has intrinsic value?
I think so.
Can you tell me why?
Why are we talking about gold?
Yeah, exactly. Why are we talking about gold? But whatever.
Gold, according to the BTC camp, right?
Yeah.
So what gives gold intrinsic value?
Gold just in the history of mankind or humankind, people have valued like shiny stuff that is limited in quantity, so that you can't just create more gold, right? You can't just create fake gold. You can't create gold out thin air. So having limited quantity of something that is desirable because of gold's shininess makes gold valuable. So that's the intrinsic value of gold.
So, you know what? I think Charlie Lee explained that a little bit poorly. I think, maybe I can't explain it much better, but I think, some things that make gold intrinsically valuable, of course, that it's extremely rare. It's low in quantity, as he said. It's very, very difficult to find gold. Even gold mines don't have that much gold. I read an article somewhere once that all of the gold ever mined from mankind and all in existence that we have extracted from the ground anyway, probably there's a lot of gold in the center of the earth or close to it, falling, dense, yada, yada. But all the gold that we've ever extracted would fit under the Eiffel Tower in like a pyramid shape. That's it. I mean, now the Eiffel Tower is massive, but really, if you think about that, you might think to yourself, well, that doesn't seem like that much, even though it's a gigantic mountain of gold. That's pretty much the whole quantity that we have ever mined. So it's very rare. Also, he did mention that it's also very useful as a conductor. It's used in chips, it's used in electronics, and it has other uses as well for electronics, conductors and things. So there's a lot more to it than just that it's a shiny coin. Although for most of humanity, we never actually used it in electronics. Obviously, because of electronics haven't been around that long. But the gold does have its problems. Like carrying around a gold piece kind of sucks. Like you go up to a vendor and you're like, hey, I'll take a pound of tobacco, from the old, I don't actually think tobacco came from the Americas. Anyway, I'll take a pound of rice, you know what I mean? And you got a gold coin. It's kind of hard to split that gold coin. You know what I mean? You'll be like, well, my gold coin is worth way more than your pound of rice. So I'm going to need a pound of rice. I'm going to need the 2 leathers, and I'm going to need the hoe over there as well. And that'll be my gold coin. So it's kind of hard to bargain with gold. Like you got to split it up. It doesn't transport well.
The talk today was on like the economic characteristics of Bitcoin's intrinsic value. Is that right?
Sure.
Do you have a background in economics?
I didn't study economics.
Okay.
Is that what you mean? It's not about economics, right? It's just
not?
about intrinsic value.
So intrinsic value is, I think, an economic term. No.
Yeah, but you don't need to study economics to talk about intrinsic value, something that's valuable to humankind. I don't need a fucking bachelor's degree or master's degree in economics to talk about something that's valuable. Roger Ver, what's wrong with this guy?
I guess I'm curious.
It's a financial term.
Did you think up these reasons by yourself, or how did you come to these conclusions that Bitcoin's intrinsic value is from censorship resistance, transaction immutability, cost of production, and a fixed money supply?
So I'll explain it this way, right? So censorship resistance gives you something that cannot be blocked from sending. Transaction immutability gives you something that cannot be reversed or taken away.
Or fake.
Production gives you something that cannot be counterfeited, right? It costs something to create another one. And fixed money supply means that it's something that cannot be devalued. So you have a new form of money that cannot be blocked from spending, cannot be reversed or taken away.
I don't understand why Roger Ver is even asking him why Bitcoin has intrinsic value when he's asking him in a way as if like he's trying to bully him as if Charlie Lee is wrong. When Roger Ver was a huge proponent of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, which is honestly in a nutshell, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash are extremely similar. They use the same algorithm. I mean, it's pretty much the same coin in a lot of ways. Now take that with a grain of salt. But why does he need to know this? I mean, its intrinsic value is based on the electricity and the hardware and the immutability and the censorship resistance. So these aren't things that should be going over Roger Ver's head or anyone. It costs a lot of money to make a Bitcoin, and therefore it has some kind of value to a lot of people. If you spend $4,000 in electricity to make a Bitcoin, you're not going to sell it for $1,000. Why would you do that?
Cannot be counterfeited and cannot be devalued. These 4 properties of money makes it very valuable because we've never had
intrinsically.
Like yeah, because if you have a Bitcoin, you have these 4 properties. You have a Bitcoin, it's stored in the blockchain, right? It's somewhere confirmed, so no one can take it from you by reversing the transaction. No one can devalue your coin. No one can create Bitcoin for cheap, which devalues your coin, right?
So Charlie, if I can interrupt here, if that's okay, I think you basically have no clue what you're talking about, and I'll tell you why.
Harsh.
And I will argue that Bitcoin has no intrinsic value whatsoever.
Okay.
And I'll give you a reason why. The value of Bitcoin is in the mind of the person that owns or is using the Bitcoin. It's not in the Bitcoin itself. If there were no human beings on the earth to value Bitcoin or to value gold, that gold or that Bitcoin would have no value whatsoever. So the value, there's no such thing as intrinsic value.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Did he just say that there's no such thing as intrinsic value because if humans weren't around, nothing would be of value?
The value
So nothing has intrinsic value.
That's right. Nothing has
Well, then you're
intrinsic
just
value.
redefining intrinsic value.
You just clarified that it's in the Bitcoin itself or it's in the gold itself. No, the value is
With
in the mind
respect
of
to people, right?
the value is in the mind
everything I
of the
talk
beholder.
about is respect to people.
Everything everyone talks about is respect to people. Everything that everyone has ever talked about is respect to people. If people weren't around, Bitcoin wouldn't be around. Bitcoin Cash wouldn't be around. Gold, I mean, well, gold would still be around, but nobody would know that it would be around. What does that have to do with intrinsic value? That is the biggest fucking mindfuck I have ever heard in my life.
If it don't exist, it doesn't.
This is getting existential.
Exactly right. The value is in the mind of the beholder, not in the object itself. But you listed off here a bunch of things that give Bitcoin its intrinsic value, and another one that I really just was shocked and, to be honest, embarrassed on your behalf that you had it up there saying that the cost of production gives Bitcoin its intrinsic value. Have you been reading Karl Marx recently?
The cost of its value does give it intrinsic value.
Have you ever read Karl Marx?
Read a bit of it, but
Okay. Have you heard of the labor theory of value?
sure.
Can you tell us about that, please?
Well, why don't you tell me about it?
Well, you had it right here in your slide in regards to the cost of production. You're saying the fact that Bitcoin takes effort to produce gives it its value. Is that what you're saying here with the cost of production?
So what I'm saying is that, well, if you actually looked at or listened to my talk, you would see that
I listened to every word of your talk.
the cost of production, there's a few things, right? One is you can't have, it's easy to detect counterfeit Bitcoin. So if someone sent you...
I think one of the slides specifically is that it costs just under $4,000 to produce a Bitcoin. Is that right? That was in your slide?
Can I finish? So the second part of that is that you can't create extra Bitcoins, right? So a transaction, a block has 12.5 Bitcoins. Miners can't just say, I want to create 40 Bitcoins or 50 Bitcoins. And the third part of that is that...
The only exception to that is when there's a lot of transactions. So you get 12.5 Bitcoins per block from the pool that is found, that made the block. Except when there's a lot of transactions, those fees go back to the miners, and it can make the blocks slightly different. But yeah, 12.5.
A cost to create a Bitcoin, right? Right now, the cost is, from March, someone calculated to be $4,000 to create a Bitcoin. So the reason why that's valuable is because if it costs nothing to create a Bitcoin, then Bitcoins will be created for nothing, and it will devalue your coins.
You just
right?
dug your hole deeper. No,
No, we didn't.
The cost of producing something has absolutely nothing to do with its value.
Yes, it does. If I have to spend $4,000 to make one Bitcoin, if it costs me if I got a receipt for $4,000 and I go, I'm not going to sell that Bitcoin for any less than $4,000. Yes, it does. What do you mean? You mean you're just going to take big losses everywhere you go? You're going to go do landscaping for free? You're going to Roger Ver. So if that's the way that Roger Ver thinks, he must work for free. He must be a straight up Buddhist or like Jainist or something like that, and he's walking around in bare feet with nothing, and he does everything in his life for free and accepts nothing.
Right. So if I were to bake,
do you guys work for free?
Now we're baking
I didn't
a mud
say
pie.
it has something to do with the value. I said it has something to do with the intrinsic value.
So Bitcoin's intrinsic value. We just went over the fact that there's no such thing as intrinsic value, and the value is
no, you didn't. You came to that conclusion, Ver.
That
You came to that conclusion, Ver, that there's no such thing as intrinsic value, and with your 200 IQ, with your fucking existential, if humans didn't exist, nothing would have value. Yeah, no shit.
Value in the mind of the beholder has a...
Does it have to do with the cost of production?
it's one of the 4 reasons I stated.
So you're a fan of Karl Marx's labor theory of value?
No.
Because that's
I guess
exactly
so.
what you're promoting here. So
I guess I am.
Karl Marx's labor theory of value, because I've read Das Kapital from cover to cover. I'm not a fan of Marx, but I understood the arguments that he was making. He basically argues that the amount of effort that goes into creating something,
right? So
Yeah, the amount of effort that goes into creating something. If you're like, hey, MrSotko, landscaper, I want you to come over and build me a little walkway with rocks. Okay, well, I'm going to charge you $200 because that took me 3 hours to do, right? But if you're like, hey, come on over and build me an entire brick fireplace in my backyard, it's going to be massive. I want thousands of bricks. I want this massive thing. It's going to cost you more money because it took me more labor to build it. Of course it does. What do you mean, Roger Ver? This just, I can't believe it.
if you just spend effort to do something, that doesn't automatically give it value, right? The
Right. So
value,
why was that in your presentation today?
it gives it
It
intrinsic
kind
value.
of does.
We just went over that there's no such thing as intrinsic value. The value is in the
Okay,
mind of the
let-
beholder, not in the object itself. And in regards to the cost of production, right? If I go and spend an hour making
So,
mud pies,
the point
that doesn't
is
mean
that-
their value because I spent an hour making them. If I spend an hour making apple pies, the apple pies are valuable not because I spent an hour making them, but because people enjoy apple pie. People don't enjoy mud pies. So even if I spent an hour making apple pies or mud pies,
Where is
the
this
apple pies
conversation
have
even
value.
going?
The
Let me
mud
ask you
pies
something.
don't.
Okay, so
Are we talking about
yeah,
Bitcoin still?
It costs some money, right? It's worth something to you.
Depends on if it's a mud pie or an
Okay,
apple
whatever,
pie.
whatever
Right?
pie you like, right? What do you like?
Apple pie
Okay,
sounds nice.
apple pie. It's worth something to you, right? If you have a device like a Star Trek device that can create infinite amount of apple pies with no cost, right? Would that apple pie cost just as much to you anymore?
So the price of everything, or the value, is set by supply and demand.
Sure.
So your Star Trek replicator would increase the supply, and the demand wouldn't necessarily change. So if you've increased the supply and the demand stays
Correct.
the same, the price
Exactly.
comes down.
Exactly.
If you increase
Sure.
the
So my
demand and the
point
supply
was-
stays
What
the
are we
same, then
talking
the
about
price goes
anymore?
up.
Yeah. And my point
Can we talk about
from
Bitcoin
that
and
is
Bitcoin
that
Cash?
because it costs money to create another apple pie, you can't. There's value that cannot be
So what-
destroyed from someone just creating infinite amount of apple pies.
What you should have said, then, to be clear, is that the supply is limited, which is totally different than your slide says the cost of production.
Yes, limited supply and demand, intrinsic value. Yes, yes, yes. What are we talking about here? It's the reason why Dogecoin is like less than a penny, because there's like trillions of like billions and trillions of Dogecoin. You know what I mean? And there's only 21, up to 21 million Bitcoin. So of course it's worth more. It costs a lot more electricity to make it. How does Roger Ver not get this? I mean, it costs a lot of electricity, costs a lot of hardware, it's demand. There's so many factors, and he's just like, it's just in the eye of the beholder. If I make mud pies, they're not worth anything. No shit, man. What are we talking about here? Is this fucking kindergarten? What are we talking about? We got way off fucking topic.
So the supply being limited, that helps Bitcoin
What is
have a price
this?
because the price of everything is set by supply and demand. So if the supply is limited,
Okay, my argument is not perfect, right? I may need to refine it a bit.
I think
And
you're
No,
my-
Charlie,
mostly
you're
admitting
fine.
Your argument is not perfect. Your argument is laughably sad to anybody.
No,
who studies
Roger Ver,
economics.
yours
The
is.
cost
You're
of
talking
production
about
has
mud
absolutely
pies
nothing
and
to do
shit
with
at
the
a...
value of a good. Absolutely nothing to do with it.
Oh my god,
I see.
I'm hurting in my head.
It's right here in your slide, and we'll
it
put
has
it here
something
for
to do with the
everybody to see.
intrinsic value of Bitcoin.
So you think that Bitcoin still has an intrinsic value?
Yes, by definition, that most people agree with intrinsic
What?
value.
I think you should pick up a dictionary and look up the word of intrinsic, and the value is in the mind of the beholder, not in the object itself.
Okay, so I mean, we disagree on the definition because if you look up,
Yeah, in the mind of the
intrinsic
beholder, but it's also based on the object. He just said in the mind of the beholder, and he just said a minute ago that if he makes mud pies, they're worth nothing. Right, because it's also the object, right? You made a mud pie, right? I can't eat that object, right? So yes, it's in the mind of the beholder, right? That I like apple pie is better, but the reason that I like apple pie is that I can consume apple pie, right? Roger Ver, holy fuck, man, you gotta get your shit together, man. Wow.
value for stock, is there intrinsic value in stock?
The value is in the mind of the beholder,
Is
not
there
in the
in-
object.
In the mind of the beholder, but
We argue because we don't agree on definition. We don't agree on the assumptions, and we can't
So
argue
that's
about this topic.
one of the fundamental
Right.
tenets of Austrian economics is the value is in the mind of the beholder, not in the object itself. So
yeah, but you just said it was in the object yourself. A mud pie isn't worth anything. Oh my god. Please get off this topic. Should I skip? Should I skip ahead?
topics you want to cover, or is that a good place to wrap it up?
I don't know.
I think we went for more than our half hour. How much time do we have there? It's been a while, right? Been about an hour. Maybe we'll do part 2
I do like
in
talking
18
to you.
months. So I enjoy talking with you too, Charlie. Like, you are a smart guy, but you got it completely wrong on the economics here and in the economics of Bitcoin. Like, totally wrong, and that's why you have like some of the biggest promoters in the entire history of Bitcoin. Now I'm busy promoting the real Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and I wish the BTC people good luck. I wish Litecoin good luck. I wish the Lightning Network good luck. I wish anybody that's building systems to bring more economic freedom to the world good luck with their projects, and I'll be supportive of those projects. But the BTC camp went off in the wrong direction and destroyed their first mover advantage.
Can I ask you something?
Go for it.
I mean, it is kind of true, even if it costs you to make mud pies. But I'm just saying, it's in the eye of the beholder, and it's in the object, right? I can't eat a mud pie. You know, I mean, I guess you could.
Upset when people call Bitcoin Cash Bcash, right?
I'm annoyed by it.
You can build houses out of mud, yeah, but that's not a mud pie. That's like an Adobe
Call
clay
Bitcoin
house or whatever.
Bitcoin Core. Isn't that a hypocrite?
So it's not the mud that's bad. It's just way more complicated than Roger Ver is trying to make it. That it's just in the eye of the beholder, right? I mean, there's a lot more.
I've been calling.
I don't know. Whatever.
Trying to make a clear distinction that there's Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash, and I think Bitcoin Cash has more Bitcoin-ness about it than Bitcoin Core does at this point.
I mean, I respect what you think.
Okay.
But I think
I'm glad your brother does too. So.
Yeah, I don't agree with everything Bobby says or does.
Obviously not.
I'm not my brother's keeper.
Sure.
Say.
No. I think he told me once that you guys aren't allowed to discuss Bitcoin Cash at family gatherings. So.
You mean Bcash?
That could be the one. I think that. May
Yeah,
be
Bobby
what
Lee
he
is
said.
always on
Bobby said Bitcoin
MSNBC,
Cash, so.
talking about how like Bitcoin is going to be $100,000 like in ridiculous short periods.
If you're really upset about people calling it Bcash, you shouldn't call Bitcoin Bitcoin Core, right?
So what should I'll just call it BTC from now on? Is that a better option? Well, Bitcoin Cash is the Bitcoin based on a list of criteria that I gave very clearly. It doesn't matter. It's still
Bitcoin Cash today. If you ask 1,000 people.
Good job, Charlie Lee. Good job. He's like, if you don't like people calling it Bcash, don't call Bitcoin Core Bitcoin Core. Or Bitcoin Core. I'm sorry. Just call it Bitcoin. And he's like, nope. He's like, because Bcash is Bitcoin Core. Oh my God, Roger Ver. This is why everybody fucks with you, man.
People say Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin Cash. It's not Bitcoin.
So if I asked 1,000 people in 2011 what they thought of Bitcoin, they'd say that sounds stupid. But I didn't give up. I was persistent, and here we are today. Digital currencies are changing the world, and being persistent is how you change the world and get things done. And I plan to do the same.
It's confusing, okay?
Yeah, and the confusion was caused by a bunch of people that hijacked the BTC project and changed what it was, and then just wanted to keep the same name.
Let me just make my.
Well, they changed it by putting SegWit on it so that you couldn't exploit ASIC boost.
If you keep calling Bitcoin Core, you shouldn't be upset that people call Bitcoin Cash Bcash.
You really don't see the difference between the two?
No.
No.
There's absolutely no difference between the two.
We'll let the viewers decide.
You know why? Because you are trying to create less confusion, right, by calling Bitcoin Core, and that I understand that. And people
do you think people calling Bitcoin Cash Bcash are trying to create more or less confusion?
Less confusion.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you agree with me that there was
Bcash because for one, Bitcoin Cash is hard to say, and for two, it's very confusing.
Bitcoin Cash doesn't seem very hard to say, but do you agree that there was an orchestrated attempt to try and change the name of Bitcoin Cash to Bcash and drive new people to the cryptocoin ecosystem to form?
No. Before we get into that, Roger Ver, there was an orchestrated attempt to change Bitcoin Cash to the ticker BTC. Do you guys remember that? I do. They wanted Bitcoin Cash when it came out, when it forked, that if it took over the majority of the hash rate and the majority of the transactions, that Bitcoin Cash would be BTC. And no exchanges accepted that. They all rejected it because BTC is Bitcoin, BCH is Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash wanted the ticker BTC. So, to you, Roger Ver.
Bitcoin Cash as Bcash rather than calling it Bitcoin Cash?
Do I see a...
Have you read the article by Donald Football? It says the reason people call Bitcoin Cash Bcash will shock you. Have you seen that article?
I think people call Bitcoin Cash Bcash because they don't want the brand confusion. They don't want people to get confused, to get misled into thinking that Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin. So to buy Bitcoin Cash, you try to buy Bitcoin and then accidentally bought Bitcoin Cash. So I think...
So I gave a very compelling list, if I do say so myself, of the defining characteristics that I think make Bitcoin Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash has 8 of the 10 or 9 of the 10. Bitcoin BTC has 2 of the 10.
It doesn't matter though that Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It doesn't matter.
So June of last year, out of your 10 list, Litecoin fills 9 of them. So is Litecoin then Bitcoin?
Litecoin didn't originate with the same Genesis block
that's
as
one
everything
that's
else.
wrong.
That's an incredibly important one.
That's the most important one.
I think that's an
but
incredibly
it's just
important one. I didn't say it's the only one.
1 of 10,
I-
right? So Litecoin.
I think
last year,
that's one that's probably required. Period. And the other ones are a bit more flexible.
I'll tell you why that's not required.
Tell me.
So, if something happens in terms of cryptography that causes a situation where we had to start a new chain, right? Bitcoin. The
So
current chain.
outside of an emergency of something
not
breaking,
outside
breaking
emergency. Not outside emergency. For example, like you've heard of Wimbo technology.
Mm-hmm.
Wimbo technology, right? It's a really cool like privacy scaling blockchain. If Bitcoin community decide that they want to upgrade to this better blockchain technology, it requires a whole separate chain. You can't attach the Wimbo chain
to the current
to
chain.
the current chain. So if that does happen, that's very unlikely that will happen. But if that does happen, that is still Bitcoin.
Don't you think it would be better for them to just start their own chain?
Oh, they are working on their own chain.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, imagine a scenario where...
So hold on. Do you think it's better that they are starting their own chain rather than trying to get everybody?
In all honesty, if Wimbo is actually better than Bitcoin in all aspects, I would hope our community can decide to actually upgrade to a better technology that has no compromise, assuming it's better in all aspects, right?
So I think we're kind of a little bit off track with that. So
Sure.
if something's obviously better, I think people will switch voluntarily, and that's just fine.
And I'd like to see, and you probably like to see people switch and upgrade the current system and bring along the same value, right? You don't want to see a new system.
That's
come
what
along.
frustrated me so much about Bitcoin's.
Yeah, they tried to hack
and
the
intentionally
BTC
causing
symbol ticker.
a bunch
Absolutely.
of economic
Yep.
nonsense to happen.
When
to
when
drive
Bitcoin
the
Cash
most
forked.
passionate
Yep.
Supporters of Bitcoin. To
They're sorry to stop it again, but they were saying if it took over the majority of the hash rate and the majority of transactions and people used it more, they were really trying to get all the exchanges to use BTC as the ticker for Bitcoin Cash. Absolutely, yeah, I absolutely remember that. There was a huge fiasco. I think that was one of the very first things with Bitcoin Cash that made people start hating on Bitcoin Cash. I think the only reason why most people use Bitcoin Cash right now is just because it's potential to trade, and that a lot of people got the fork, at some point. So so it was distributed well because of the fork.
their altcoins. That's been incredibly frustrating for me.
So I just
And if I can summarize a little bit too, the part that makes me so mad is that the BTC version of Bitcoin has changed into something that's not what was defined by Satoshi or the Bitcoin.org website or the Bitcoin white paper. It have insisted on keeping the Bitcoin name, whereas Bitcoin Cash most closely resembles the version of Bitcoin that you and I both got involved with in
I don't
2011.
I don't agree.
This is my point of view, so you can.
That you got involved in.
You're free to disagree with it, and I think I've made a very compelling case, and I've made videos and given talks about this. And so, what really bothers me is that the BTC version has insisted on keeping the Bitcoin name, and attacked the Bitcoin Cash people for even having the Bitcoin name in their name at all. Yet it's the one that most closely resembles the version of Bitcoin as outlined by the original Bitcoin white paper, Satoshi Nakamoto and Bitcoin.org. That's what really bothers me. And the fact that they did it using all sorts of censorship and propaganda to where I can't even post
What do you mean the
on
propaganda?
on
You
Bitcoin
used the
and
propaganda.
will be deleted. I find that really
What?
disappointing when Bitcoin's
Well, I mean,
supposed to be a censorship-resistant
that's like
currency.
another hour of conversation about censorship.
Sure.
I think, from my point of view, I think I've told you right. It's
So maybe I'll sum up.
Okay, guys. So that was it. That was the Roger Ver, Charlie Lee debate. It was Bitcoin Cash that used all the manipulation, trying to say that Bitcoin Cash is the Bitcoin. That's why people don't like Bitcoin Cash, right? That's why people don't like Roger Ver, because he's manipulating people and he's saying just false things. Because nobody cares about Ethereum Classic. Nobody cares about forks. Nobody cares about, nobody raised a fit about Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Private, Bitcoin Dark. Nobody raised a fit about Zencash, Z Classic, Ethereum Classic. Nobody raised a fit about any of these, right? Nobody cares if you fork a coin, right? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? It would have been better if Bitcoin Cash just forked and said, hey, look, we're better than Bitcoin. Look, we're faster and we have less costly transactions. That's it, right? And then maybe people would have liked it and used it. It's a viable coin. But when you sit there and constantly say that it's the real Bitcoin, all this stuff, you know, that's where things are going wrong. That's where, you know, you start to become a liar, a manipulator, and that's now he has to perpetuate that lie. Because once again, I think Bitcoin Cash was entirely created around the time when SegWit was going to be introduced. Because Bitmain has a $1 billion operation, right? They have tens and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of ASIC miners. And when you're running an operation like that and you're using ASIC boost, you're exploiting ASIC boost on Bitcoin, and then SegWit comes along and that's going to remove it. That means you're now going to be 30% less efficient than you were, right? And that's going to be a huge bash to a company that is operating with millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, right? 30% is going to be huge. You're going to lose millions and millions of dollars, right? That's going to be bad. So instead, you create a fork of a coin. You call it the original Bitcoin. You use everybody and everybody's mother's brother to manipulate and try and manipulate the world around it. You get Bitcoin.com as the Bitcoin Cash website, Bitcoin.com as the Bitcoin Cash website. And then you don't introduce SegWit, so you can continue using ASIC Boost and have a 30% efficiency, less efficiency, you know, greater efficiency on mining Bitcoin Cash, and then you can keep your millions of dollars. It's obvious, and it's just a manipulative. It's a giant conspiracy, and I'm sorry to have to say, guys, it's just a massive conspiracy. But really great interview. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed you guys coming. I know it was just a really short live stream. I wasn't really gaming right now or anything like that. But there is a link in the description of the video to Twitch. If you guys like these, sooner or later I'm going to be moving exclusively to Twitch. So click that link and head over to Twitch. I feel like Roger Ver right now, you know, shilling, right? Head on over to Twitch and hit the heart button at the top of my channel, and that will follow me, and you'll get notifications. Because one of these days, it's probably going to be in a few months or something like that, I'm going to switch over to Twitch, especially when I get partnership on Twitch. I won't be able to live stream on YouTube and Twitch anymore. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming along. Thank you, Meep. I'm going to do that, man. And thank everybody else for coming. Roger probably thinks Conor McGregor was robbed last night. Bitmain is trying to create artificial demand for BCH by buying up all the BCH. Exactly. If he makes a video about it, then it must be right. Roger just started fighting between us. It's the old system we should be fighting. Well, if he owns the domain, he knows he can't rebrand because he'll lose his cash. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they did try to hijack the BTC symbol. I remember that. You could probably Google some articles back in, when was that? I don't know, like September or something like that was going on of last year, 2017. So thanks, guys, for coming. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good day. I just wanted to do this, and I am out. So see you guys.